Alright, hello everyone. It's been a while since I came for an update. I am coming to you live from Sheltered Cove Resort in Oregon. As you can see behind me, it's a pretty busy place. It's Friday. They're getting ready for their weekend. And today we're going to start with the furthest away update, and that's going to be Section P of California. And that's going to cover the section from Mount Shasta to Etna, which was about 100 miles. Day 91 was the day I was getting out of Mount Shasta. It was a really hot day, so we woke up, ate breakfast at the Black Bear Diner. That's a really good place to eat that a lot of hikers go. They have a really giant burger that you can get when you go in there. And then for lunch we went to the pizza buffet. They have an all-you-can-eat buffet in Mount Shasta, and that's kind of where we stayed and beat out the heat. And even though we got a late start that day, we got a ride from a trail angel named Tony. He's pretty famous in that area for giving people rides. It's kind of hard to get a ride from I-5 in Mount Shasta because it's interstate, so obviously you can't hitch on it, so you kind of gotta get lucky or call Tony. And you'll see me swatting around a little bit. The bugs in Oregon are being a little aggressive, and we're just having to deal with it. And even though we got a late start that day, the day 91, we got 17 miles up the mountain out of Mount Shasta. Then we went to day 92, which was a pretty 30-mile long day, but we ended up stopping at a spring for lunch. It was really nice. And then we stopped at a place called Upper Deadfall Lake and hung out at the lake for a while, and we were still able to get our 30-mile day. So as you can tell, Northern California, the terrain is a lot easier than the Sierras, and you're able to push a lot bigger miles. Of course, there's no snow, and so you're just rolling through Northern California. And then we go to day 93, which was also a 30-mile day. We're actually trying to catch up with a guy named Marino and Etna, and that's why we were doing back-to-back 30-mile days. This day 93 was kind of interesting because around lunchtime I was about 14 miles in, and I came out to a parking area, and there was a guy who was trying to get to the coast of California, Oregon, and he was really lost, and so we had to get a map out, help the guide figure out where he needed to go. So that just goes to tell you, for traveling in an area you don't know, please learn how to read a map. I mean, anything, because he got out there, there's no signal, there's no service, couldn't figure out where he was going. So we got his map out, got him turned around, and then I literally went back into the woods. Day 94 was the day, it was a 25-mile day that we were going to get into Etna. And Etna Summit, which is the place where you get a ride down to Etna, it's about 11 or 12 miles. It's kind of infamous for being super hard to get a hitch. There were gut-hook comments of people that waited 45 minutes, an hour. Some people said that they just left because they couldn't get a ride down to town. And so we got there, and when I got there, it was pretty promising because there was a guy that was a little bit ahead of me that was in our group, and he had already gotten a ride down. And so I was thinking, well, maybe it won't be that hard. And I went over and sat down on a log and waited for mid-layer, who was a guy that was behind me. And as soon as mid-layer came down, we walked to the road, looked around, and figured out that the other guy was gone. And then mid-layer walked to the road with his backpack, and we heard a car, and he said, you know, should we try to hitch? And I said, yeah. And sure enough, the first car that came by when mid-layer was down there gave us a ride into Etna. Etna's a really cool hiker town. There's only one hotel, but it was booked up, so we stayed at the Hiker Hut. And Hiker Hut's a really nice place. You get packages, and you can rent bikes. And that's what I did. I rented a bike, went to the store. We went to the 2 breweries that were in Etna, and went to the distillery that have a lot of restaurants. It's really good. And then we went to the bakery for breakfast the next morning. Etna was just a great town, and we also didn't have any problems getting a ride back out. So definitely recommend going into Etna, and that's Section P.